Welcome everyone. In our last video, I had discussed or I had introduced the poem The Sailor by Rabindranath Tagore. I had discussed the child image, the significance of the child in Tagore's writings, so that I can explain the poem in this video of ours, line wise. But before I get into the detailed explanation of the poem, I would request you to pacify your minds, and as I read through the lines, you try to connect, you try to associate the lines, the words, or the images that the words will create in your minds. You please try to relate them to the explanation that I had given in the previous video, so that will make the lines and the words clear to you more easily. Okay, so we start. The Sailor by Rabindranath Tagore. The boat of the boatman Madhu is moored at the wharf of Rajganj. It is uselessly laden with jute and has been lying there idle for ever so long. If he would only lend me his boat, I should man her with 100 oars and hoist sails 5 or 6 or 7. I should never steer her to stupid markets. I should sail the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. But mother, you won't weep for me in a corner. I'm not going into the forest like Ramachandra to come back only after 14 years. I shall become the prince of the story and fill my boat with whatever I like. I shall take my friend Ashu with me. We shall sail merrily across the ever seas and the 13 rivers of the fairyland. We shall set sail in the early morning light, when at noontide you are bathing at the pond. We shall be in the land of a strange king. We shall pass the fort of Tirpurni and leave behind us the desert of the panther. When we come back, it will be getting dark, and I shall tell you of all that we have seen. I shall cross the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. So with this, I end my reading of the poem over here, and now I'll get into the explanation of the poem. So please be very careful with the words that I discuss, with the things that I discuss, and try to remember the poem, try to keep the poem in your mind, and try to associate the explanation with the poem as we get along. All right, so now I hope you remember the things that I had discussed with you in my previous video. Yes, I had told you, I had talked about the significance of the child, and I had also told that through the images of Madhu and the child, who is of course the speaker of the poem, Tagore tries to uphold or tries to tell us, the readers, how the two worlds, okay, the world of the adults and the world of the children, okay, how the adults and the children perceive the drift of their of their lives in their own individual ways, right? So this is the main theme of the poem. Through the lines, Tagore tries to explain how a child perceives the world and how an adult perceives the world. Okay, so how does the poem begin? The boat of the boatman Madhu is moored at the wharf of Rajganj. Now, what do you mean by the word moor? Moor is nothing but it is the way in which a boat is fastened. Okay, so moor means to fast a boat, that is to tie a boat. Okay, by attaching it by a rope to the shore. Okay, so the boat of the boatman Madhu is moored at the wharf of Rajganj. Wharf. So you can see the picture over here. Okay, moor, and the next word is wharf. It is also it's actually the place, okay, the level quayside area to which a boat may be moored. Okay, all right. Now look at the way in which the poet begins the poem. It begins with a sense of desolation and stagnation. It begins with a sense of abandonment, which, and all these features, they define the life of an adult who is nearing his old age, right? See, the boat has been moored, it has been tied up. So it shows that the boat is not ready to be in motion. Okay, so the boat has been tied up. It will not be taken into the rivers anymore, and it has been lying over there for a long time. Idle. Look at the word idle. Idle means without any kind of activity, right? So the poem begins with a sense of desolation. See, it's lying over there all alone, right? When we grow older, sad enough, we start feeling lonely within ourselves. We start feeling lonely within ourselves. We start to feel like this, that all our work has been done, all the responsibilities, the duties have been fulfilled, and you start feeling lonely deep within yourself, right? So similarly, I told that the boat, okay, in the poem, the boat represents life itself. All right. With Madhu's boat, it represents an adult's life. Now, when the child tries to take the boat out, so then the boat takes the image of the life of a child. So the boat of the boatman Madhu is moored at the wharf of Rajganj. So sense of desolation and stagnation works over here. Okay, it is uselessly laden with jute and has been lying there idle for ever so long. Idle, without any activity. The boat has been lying there maybe for years, nobody knows for how many days, right? It is like, you can relate to the image, to the picture where old people of the society, they are shown to be very lonely. They are shown to be staying alone without anyone to talk to them, without any kind of activity, and a sort of they are kept at a bay. They are pushed aside automatically, like, right? Somehow they start to feel like this, that they are not needed anymore. Okay, their need has come to an end, and they start to feel desolated. They start to feel stagnant. They start feeling isolated. Okay, it is, and again, this useless, the feeling of uselessness also cramps their heads up. They feel choked, with this sense of uselessness. This sense chokes them up, right? A sense of uselessness overpowers the elderly people of society, as if they are not wanted anymore, they are not needed anymore. So similarly, the boat was also lying in a way as if its need had ended. The boat was not needed anymore. Okay, now look at the way how the child starts visualizing the boat in a different way. To a child, nothing is useless in this world, right? A child always makes the smallest thing of the nature beautiful with his own presence, right? If he would only lend me his boat, I should man her with 100 oars and hoist sails 5 or 6 or 7. Why has Madhu kept the boat so idle? It's such a beautiful thing. If he will only lend me, if he will only allow me to take it, if he will only allow me to borrow it from him, I will show what I can do with the boat. See, such a larger than life dream, isn't it? He is just a child. But look at the way, look at the positivity with which he looks at things, right? The child always looks at the world with positivity. very, very optimistic. Because, for a child, the life just begins. Life just begins. And for an elderly person, for an adult, the life moves ahead towards his end, towards towards his end, in better words. So a child is always brimming with imagination, as I say repeatedly. A child is always full of imagination. For him, all the things around him are new. He is beginning to know the world. He is beginning to, perceive the world in his own individual way. So just look at the way he says, I would just man her. I would steer the boat with 100 oars. Such a larger than life dream. Larger than life dream. 100 oars and hoist sails 5 or 6 or 7. I should never steer her to stupid markets. Just see, I told you in my last video that adult people are influenced by the materialistic needs of the world, right? So over here, see, the child calls markets to be stupid, and the significance of the word market is that through the word market, the child, or rather the poet, tries to show the importance of the materialistic needs for the adults. Okay, now you know what a market is. It is a place where things are bought and sold, right? Money transfer, day-to-day need of man in the world, okay, get transferred in the markets. That's the place where business goes on. That's the place where profit and loss. People over there only think of profit and loss. Okay, they only think in terms of money. They only think in terms of materials, right? So now such a place will of course be stupid to a child, because these things don't attract a child. These things carry no meaning to him at all, right? Okay, so that's why the child calls markets to be stupid, right? Because he never focuses on the materialistic aspects of life, and of course these places will not be for him. So he will not take his boat to places which don't carry any meaning to him, which are not important to him at all. They are very, very stupid. They are meaningless. Okay, they appear to be senseless. The markets appear to be senseless to the child. Rather, what he would do instead, he would like to explore the whole world. Okay, a child's life is full of exploration, desire to explore around, to explore everything around. So he would rather explore the whole world. He would rather reach the unknown and unseen corners of the world. Instead, what will the child do? The child will explore the beautiful world around him. Because a market is very limited, right? It's a limited place where you can think nothing more than money and transactions. So very limited, your thoughts get cramped up, right? So a child's mind is boundless. So he will rather explore the beautiful world around him. He will reach the unseen corners of the world. So what does it signify? It signifies that a child's heart is very, very inquisitive. Okay? Inquisitive, it is always interested to know and learn more, full of questions, right? A child's mind is always full of questions to which he continuously craves to get answers. And that is the reason why this child also wants to go around the world, okay, so that his questions are quenched, his questions are answered. All right, I should sail the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. You know, in the fairy tales, when we were very, very young, in your childhood days also, you had definitely heard in stories of Tagore Tero Nodir Par, right? So we don't know what or where these rivers are, where these seas are. They are just in our imagination. It is an idea, okay? 7 seas and 13 rivers are nothing but an idea that stands for this unknown world which we haven't seen. 7 seas and 13 rivers. They are just an idea that stands for the world unknown to mankind. We all crave to visit this unknown world every single day, right? So this child wants to go, he wants to visit, he wants to sail across the 7 seas and the 13 rivers, which means he wants to travel to distant lands, okay? It means he wants to travel to distant lands unexplored by anyone else. All right, so he wants to go to such lands of fairyland. Okay, fairyland. Why fairyland? Because we don't know if these places exist in reality. Okay, they exist only in fairyland. The fairyland, there is also a significance of this particular word, I feel. Fairies, who are they? They are again some fictional characters. They are again figures which exist in our dreams, and fairies are known to have some magical powers in them with which they can make all your dreams come true, right? Fairies are associated with magic and wish fulfillment. As a child, we have all dreamt to be blessed by fairies so that all our dreams may come true. Now, this child also had this secret desire to go to a fairyland where there will always be, and fairylands are always full of happiness, they are always full of merriment, okay, where there is no kind of boundaries. You can act there is no kind of sadness over there. So fairyland is nothing but a dreamland, okay, a dreamland. So he would rather go to those dreamlands. Now, this is again very interesting over here. See, until and unless we explore things which have not been visited by people, which have not been thought by anyone, they remain to be like dreams, because flying in the sky had remained a dream until aeroplanes were invented, right? So dreams are nothing but your secret desires. They are your cravings, right, which you want to fulfill. Okay, so definitely see, every day there are many places which get explored by travelers, right? And until they are explored, they remain unknown to us, and whatever is unknown to us are like dreams to us, right? Are like dreamlands to us. Okay, so similarly, a child wants to travel to lands unexplored. So fairyland is nothing but lands which are unexplored by people. So he wants to travel to such lands, he wants to travel to such places, and actually he wants to see the world with his own eyes. All right, but again, see over here, look at the sense of maturity with which he says, "But mother, you won't weep for me in a corner." This line, beautiful line. But mother, you won't weep. Weep means cry. You won't cry for me in a corner. See, sense of maturity. He tries to behave like an adult over here, right? Tries to behave like an adult, tries to soothe. He soothes his mother down because he knows that his mother will be worried, will be anxious about her son. So just see how well he understands his mother, right? And just in the way a mother tries to soothe a child down, a child also does the same to pacify his mother's anxiousness, anxieties down, right? So over here, the mother and the child relationship is also defined, right? Mother and child relationship is defined. Alright, so mother, you won't cry for me in a corner, because I'm not going into the forest like Ramachandra to come back only after 14 years. We all know that Lord Rama was sent, he was exiled for 14 years, and he was sent to Dandaka forest, okay, Ramachandra. So Lord Rama was exiled. He was moved out of his kingdom, exiled for 14 years. And the forest that he is talking about is Dandaka forest, okay, Dandaka forest. So he is saying that, mother, why will you cry for me? Because I will not come back like Ramachandra after 14 years. So don't worry about me at all. I will be back just by the day's end. So don't worry, your son will be, your son is a brave boy. He is a courageous boy. He is a strong boy. So nothing will be able to harm him. So don't worry at all. Don't cry for me at all. Right? He's trying to soothe his mother down. I shall become the prince of the story. I had explained. A child always craves to be the king of his own land. He tries of his own story. He wants to be the king of his own world. Right? He doesn't want to be dictated by anyone. His own imaginations, they overflow in their own way. So a child is always the king of his own world. He is always the king of his own story. So mother, I shall become the prince of the story and fill my boat with whatever I like. See, boat again. I told you it is an imagery that stands for life. So he wants to fill up, he wants to do everything that he wants to in life. Okay, he wants to achieve all the things that he desires for in life. Okay, so and fill my boat with whatever I like. Not jute, because Madhu's boat is laden with jute, with only the thing that he dealt in. Okay, so very limited aspects, but a child's life will be full of everything that he wants to be to fill it up with. All right, I shall take my friend Ashu with me. Right, a child's friend always takes an important part in his life. So he will take his friend with him. We shall sail merrily across the ever seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. We shall set sail in the early morning light. See, early morning light. There is again a significance of this expression. Early morning light, beginning of a day, beginning of something new. The child will be about to venture into his dreams, will be was about to venture into his imaginations, into the things that into a life that he has always craved for, a new beginning. Okay, a start. He is giving a start to his life. So that should be done. definitely at the daybreak and not at day's end, right? So early morning light stands for beginning of a day, which in turn stands for beginning of something new. And definitely what new? The child's venture, okay? The child, the venture, like he was about to venture into something new for himself. When at noontide you are bathing at the pond, we shall be in the land of a strange king. So mother, when you will be bathing at the pond, so by noon, we will reach some unknown land. On one hand, you will be bathing over here. On the other hand, your son will actually sail across seas and oceans to reach some unknown and unexplored world. We shall pass the ford of Tirpurni and leave behind us the desert of the panther. Ford is like you'll see in the picture over here. Ford is a shallow place in a river or stream, allowing one to walk across. Alright, so he says we shall pass the ford of Tirpurni and leave behind us the Tepanther of desert of Tepanther. See, it's again something which we have all heard as children in the in the stories, Rupkothar Golpo. Okay, Tepantorer mat periye. Yes, so Tepantor again. Tepantor is nothing but again it is symbolic. It symbolizes a dreamland. It symbolizes a land which we haven't seen. None of us have seen how a Tepanther looks like. It's an unexplored world. It's an unexplored land which still resides only in our dreams. Okay, so Tepanther, we will pass the desert of Tepanther, and when we come back, it will be getting dark, and I shall tell you of all that we have seen. Again, you see, the mother and child relationship has such beautifully explained. See, just as a mother tells stories to her child, just to get him off to sleep, those stories which help the child to dream, the stories which help the child to frame his dreams, so those dreams will, the child wants to live those dreams for himself. He wants to visit those unexplored lands about which he has heard of time and again from his mother. Now in return, when he comes back, he would like to tell the stories to his mother. Again, this I said, mother and child relationship beautifully explained. So he wants to tell the stories to his mother. Again, a sense of maturity. He is trying to be like his mother. He is trying to be like an adult. Okay. And look at the way how the poem ends. I shall cross the 7 seas and the 13 rivers of fairyland. Repetition of the same line. Now, why do you think Tagore has ended the poem with this line? There is definitely a significance. The poem basically ends with a dreamy note. Okay? The poem ends with a dreamy note. Now, what is this dreamy note? Dreams are what keep us going, right? Dreams are nothing but the secret desires, the secret wishes that we have within ourselves. Now, through the dreams, those wishes get fulfilled. So they are nothing but a source of wish fulfillment, okay? So the poem ends with the desire, right? It ends with a desire to quench the thirst of reaching the unknown and unseen world. Okay, and why fairyland? Again, I said a fairyland stands for happiness. A fairyland stands for all sorts of good things, right? So we all, even in our adult lives, we will all love to visit the fairylands which we have, all of us have dreamt of as children, right? Fairyland stands for a place where things are always happy and beautiful, right? No worries, no tension, no exams, nothing, no competitions, nothing, right? No fear at all. So we all crave for such a land, right? So the poet ends the poem with this line, just to establish the fact that it is not only the child who craves to visit such a land. Basically, the child is nothing but he is that, that desirous soul within us. Okay, a child is that part within ourselves which they are the cravings which we all have. Okay, a child represents the cravings which the adults also have, because it is through the children that the adults live their lives. Okay, so it is a land where all your dreams come true. It is rather a reverberation of all the hearts of the adults. See, this is what I'm trying to say. Adults, though run the rat race of survival, yet they crave to go across the panther to visit the land, of the fairies, the fairyland, where all their dreams will come true. A child is therefore the secret soul or the secret self of every man in the world. And that is why Tagore ends the poem such beautifully. A child is always unstoppable. Adults also crave for these things which a child craves, but since they are influenced by the practical world, they can't dream so large. Okay, so as I said, Tagore establishes this fact through the poem that a child is nothing but the secret soul or the secret self, the secret cravings, the dreams and the wishes of every man in the world, right? So with this, we wrap up today. Hope you will definitely like the video. The lesson will be useful to you, so please don't forget to like and share the video, and of course those of you who are new viewers will subscribe and press the bell icon for further notifications. Okay, thank you. You will also find lessons on many other topics apart from English, speed math, statistics, general knowledge, okay, history. Please go through the playlist on our channel, and you can watch them according to your needs. You can share the videos with people who need them, okay? So just help us grow. You keep learning, because we only focus to spread education among the world, okay? So help us, we are helping you, you also help us. So we work as a family over here. We would love to see interest in you, and subscribe, like, share the videos, press the bell icon for further notifications. Thank you.